Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Professor Govalla, and today I have a good friend of mine, Thakare. He is a manager at IPG Photonics Corporation located in Boston. He specializes in supply chain management. And just go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
So first of all, nice to finally be over here. My name is Saurabh. I have a bachelor's in I have a master's in mechanical engineering, and my area of specialties is supply chain operations and just production manufacturing in general. The scope of my career, what I have, this is what I say, like everyone needs to have like one sentence that they define their career with. Mine is the art of bringing thoughts from paper to production, and that's what I'm trying to work towards. So yeah, anything and everything that falls under this category is just something I am working on and I'll be working on.
Nice.
Right?
Nice. So basically, the scope of this interview or this talk is we want to kind of just kind of go through your life, just see what different expertise you might have for our viewers in terms of your space, right? So it's my understanding that you're mainly you went to school for mechanical engineering,
Right.
but now you've fallen into this different space of manufacturing and supply chain management. So let's start from the beginning. What was your passion in the field of mechanical engineering?
So it started when I was growing up. Like I remember second year of my bachelor's, some consultant on someone came into college. He's like, who here knows why they're here for mechanical engineering or who came here willingly? I was like, yeah, I came here willingly. I wanted to do mechanical engineering. It's like, you know nothing. It's like, what? What are you talking about? Like, all right, I might not know things, but I know what decisions I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
So don't stress about or don't overthink about people like that. But it comes down from like how I grew up, I guess. But like I was heavy into like just mechanics. So like when I was growing up, like my mom used to give me tools like it started with Legos. After Legos, it came into mechanics sets. From mechanics set, like the like science competitions at school. So I started playing with motors, DC batteries, LEDs, like just basic, very, very, very basic stuff. So that was school life. And at the same time, I was trying to make my own toys. Like I remember, like I used a stapler to create a top.
Okay.
So like things like that, where I was just recycling whatever I had at home and trying to make toys out of it. Just go around, repair my own like bikes. Like if your chains are getting out, fix your own bikes, fix your own spokes of the bike, so things like that. So it just started growing over there. Then I had a motorcycle. I'm a big motorcycle nerd.
Nice.
So I used to work on that. Every time I used to go to the mechanic shop. Like I wouldn't drop the bike. Like I used to sit over there and see how they repair the bike. So like that got me into a bit of automotive. From automotive, like I just slowly started getting into the system. I got into mechanical engineering because I was like this basically helped me decide what I want to do. And eventually, like I got into SAE Baha, which is basically designing your own ATVs.
Okay.
And that's what slowly, pushed me into more of a technical field.
Really quickly, what does SAE bar stand for?
SAE Baha is Society of Automotive Engineers.
Okay.
Baha is basically like ATVs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's you design and you manufacture from start to end, and you go on a national scale and compete at that.
Oh wow. Okay.
So yeah, that was something that really helped me understand like how things will function.
Yeah. And were you in this? Is this a university program or is this like a high school or like a?
No, it's a like bachelor's thing. So
bachelor's
like
thing,
it's
okay.
in states. It's global.
It's global. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, because I have heard of it, but I've never. I was never part of it or anything like that. But I have heard of it, and I know you guys. Everyone in this society basically builds like cars and different types of automotives and do like racing things like that, right?
Yep.
So I have seen it, and it's really cool. But I wanted to go back to your childhood. That's really cool that you said you developed. You started off with Legos, and I think that's a lot of engineers. Like for me, me personally, I was kind of like, although it was kind of like the opposite. still kind of engineering because I was always like, how can I disembark this? Can I remove every piece of this thing and then see it internally, how it works internally, and then put it back together, right? Versus the conventional engineer was like, oh, I want to build this and put it together.
Yep.
I was like, okay, you give me a final product, let me open it up. And then sometimes I'll put it back together and sometimes
it doesn't work. Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't work. And then, your parents just end up getting mad at you because you broke your Christmas toy.
They used to call me the scientist. Like, it's not the right term, but they used to be like, keep the scientist away from new stuff. Like, old stuff, do what you want. New stuff, do not touch it.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. So, okay, so then you grew up in India, right?
Yes.
Yes. And then where did you go to school there and how was that process for you? In terms of, this is not like, let's say university.
So, college as in junior college or like bachelor's? Because the terms are like
A little bit
different.
different.
Like,
so however you phrase it, growing up, so like junior college to university, bachelor's. Yeah.
So, I think after your 10th grade is when you decide what stream you want to take and like go into.
And how old are you at this point?
Don't make me calculate now.
Okay.
But still young enough, right?
Young enough.
Teens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just because I wanted the viewers to kind of see and gauge when you have to start making these life decisions in terms of your age, right?
Yeah, I think 5 is when you're in, like, you go to class 1, right? So I think 16.
16. Okay.
Yeah, 16 is when I decided to go into class, like, to computer science.
Oh, okay.
So I went into computer science. So I understand C, C++, HTML. Like, I learned basic coding on 8086 microprocessor circuits. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but like those wooden boxes where you have like mechanical key sets where you have to go line by line and put information. So I started over the 11th, 12th grade, did that. At the end, I was like, when it came to, all right, I need to apply for bachelor's, it just hit me as I cannot sit on the desk 24/7. And that basically, like, that's coming up over here as well, because I cannot sit daily, like, I can't do this 24/7. So CS was out. Like, it's not out, but I don't want to do this as a mainstream.
Yes.
At the same time, I was like, I don't want to design stuff as well, because again, that comes in the same category. So I was always leaning towards manufacturing a bit.
I see. Okay. Right. So you were more into, I want to move around, use my hands, as well as communicate with other people, versus like computer science. Although yes, you work on projects as teams, but it's mainly like you're sitting at a desk, kind of just on your computer. Googling or researching different methodologies of making data structures, things like that, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Okay. So, so that's your decision to go into junior college.
Junior college was computer science, bachelor's I switched to mechanical.
To mechanical. Okay. Talk to us through like your coursework, how you were able to tackle your coursework with things like SAE.
Yeah.
As well as family being there. Were you away from family at this point? Like in terms of like maybe an hour drive or something like that? I know like I went to university a bit away from family. So how were you able to juggle that? Your coursework, your extracurricular activities, family, and social life.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's start a topic at a time, right? So coursework. I think the coursework was pretty good. I genuinely think we were mugging up a lot from year 2 to like 4. Mugging up as in like you're just memorizing things, putting it on the paper and just moving on.
Yeah.
It's like, how do I get the like passing marks?
Yeah.
And that's what my experience was. I think I loved the first year because I was in the machine shop. I was doing carpentry. I was doing like pipe work. They taught us how to do threads on a pipe.
Oh, okay.
We did woodwork.
Okay.
Machine shop, as in I was working on a like lathe machine. I was programming CNCs. So that was year 1 and like some portion of year 2.
Okay.
So that's the portion that I really like. After that, like the engineering portion went towards more theoretical side. till last year where you have to create your own like capstone project. So year 2 and 3 were a bit mediocre, but that's where this SAE Baha came in, where we were welding, we were cutting, like we were designing and making the system, like in this case not system but like basically car,
The car,
like
yeah.
a toy car basically. So there's always been a factor where like we had our hands dirty, and that's what I like. Like family wise, I was living with my parents. The university was like an hour.
Oh,
So
that's
an
not
hour train ride.
train. Okay, that's not bad.
Train is nothing. So like we used to get up at like I used to like train at 6:50. And then 8. Like these are the two. You aim for like you aim for 7:50 and 8. So you aim for 7:50, but you end up taking 8. Yeah, that's always that's usual.
Yeah.
Because there's always we used to go in groups.
Okay.
Like we used to stay at the train station for everyone to come in, and only then we go.
Oh, okay.
And it's like there's always one person who will come up late. So there's like we always aim for 7:50. Always ended up on the 8 o'clock train.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Go to university, like have some breakfast over there, get your lectures done. 4:35 you leave, come back home by 6:30, and then grab your motorcycle, just go around the town.
Around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
life is just a bit more relaxing over there.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's interesting. You talked about your extracurricular your studies, where it was like more theoretical towards the end,
Yep.
and more hands-on towards the beginning.
Right.
I feel like here, when I went to university, it was kind of the opposite. Like, for example, your first 1 or 2 years, you're learning things like algebra, calculus, differential equations, physics, chemistry. It's all a lot of like the baseline, engineering, right? Like the baseline engineering. Although you might say, oh, where does chemistry fit into electrical engineering? But then you later on find out how it all fits in. And then when you go to like junior and senior level, that's when like your professor should start giving you projects in your coursework, whether it be researching different control systems and putting a system together, or working together with a team, and doing some like computer architecture work.
Yeah, makes sense.
Things like that. So, and then obviously you have senior design, and senior design is basically trying to get you to work together as a team. And then the first semester is when you write up most of your documents, your proposals, your
Methodology.
your reports, your methodology, what you hypothesize your results will be, things like that, your conclusions. And then it's like this whole document. And then the second semester is when you start buying things based on a university budget, where you start buying things, you start putting it all together, and then you have a senior design day where you present to faculty and teams. So I just thought it was interesting how you said it was kind of like inside the first 2 years you kind of went into more hands-on, and then you switched over. So that was cool.
We did kind of have like projects, but it were not hands-on projects. Like when we had a subject called production planning and control.
Okay.
So I'm not going into like an understand planning anything. You learn theory at that point. Automotive engineering, we had an engine like disassembled in front of us, so we can understand that. But there were theoretical like subjects, industrial engineering, PPC, like production planning and control, measurements and control. So there were subjects that are more on a theoretical basis at that point. So
I see.
out of 4, I think we used to have 4 subjects or 5 subjects a semester. Like 5 classes a semester.
5 classes, a semester,
And out of that, 2 used to be theoretical, 2 used to be a bit more practical or industrial. And then 1 used to be math.
Okay, I see. So let's go to the social aspect of things. So you said in the mornings, you would wake up and you would wait for like kind of like your buddies to all come to the train station. Are these like the colleagues in your classes? Are you keeping up with these people, or are these just like
people you find out? You're standing, you crack a joke, 2 other people laugh. Come on and a vibe match kind of thing.
I see.
We just used to stay at the same like station.
I see.
Then there used to be like multiple stations. So whoever is coming from that side, we used to save us a seat.
Oh, I see.
You know,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like there's one group just joining us every single station, and at the end of the day, like everyone just leaves.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Okay. So, and then also in terms of like social networking, were there any like social clubs that you were part of or anything like that?
No,
Or
nothing.
just okay, just straight school and back or
I straight school and back, but there were nothing like Toastmasters or things like that.
I see. I see.
I anchored a couple events in like year 3 or in year 4, but
Okay.
that's about it.
That's I got you. Okay.
This I didn't go. Like, I was so occupied in other stuff. Like year 1, year 2, I was doing more hands-on work. Year 3 is when I started prepping for my exam to come into States.
I got you.
So like, and year 4 is when the application started. So it's like every single year I had some side project going on. So like it never gave me an avenue to even just allocate some portion for these clubs.
I see. I see.
I did start one thing, and that's one of my biggest regrets. Where there was a year, like I've for 6 months in a row, I was just going to like underprivileged, like slum areas,
Okay.
and I was helping the like kids over there learn English.
Oh,
So
okay.
there is a club, there is an NGO. So the NGO was basically it's like I think we were 12 of us, and we had a couple like heads, and all we did is we used to take some school or some open area.
Yeah.
Every guy or every girl used to have like 5 or 6 like student allocated who couldn't afford school. So we just used to teach them for like 2 hours a week.
Wow.
But then it just not even 2 hours a week. Yeah, around that time, and then like just life happened, and I couldn't keep up with that.
I see. Is the club still going on? Do you know?
It's still going on. I wish I could give more time to it, but just life happened, and
I see.
it's like that's one thing that I wish I could have completed. You know.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Always giving back is really good for the community, and it kind of brings more like an ethical, pleasing stature to yourself. You know, you're like, okay, like a purpose, you know, kind of thing. So it's always good to always give back to the community, and that's really cool that you started that and it's still going on. So I want to deviate towards your application process. You said you did your master's at University of Texas in Arlington.
Yep.
In mechanical engineering.
Correct.
So what I want to do is I want to kind of break down your application process, what loopholes you had to go through, and things like when you got accepted, how did you transition from India to the U.S.?
So I started early. I knew that this is not enough education for me. So I was like, I need to do masters. I'll do something. I didn't define a country where do I want to go, but I was like, there needs to be a change. Like this is not fulfilling the hunger, you know.
I see.
So I was just debating between Germany, States, and the problem is like Germany, you need to know like German level 2, and I was like, man, like I already studied like 5-6 language. I don't want another language. So it's just a personal choice. It's nothing against German, like learning German, but it's like I knew a bit of language. I was done learning a new language. It's like there's no way I'm starting another language. And at the same time, like of course everyone wants to come to States, so I chose States.
True.
Year 3 is when you start prepping for how you have SATs. We have GRE.
GRE, okay.
GRE is like 6 hours exam.
Yeah, we have GREs here too.
So brutal exam, but like you study for that and just gave the exam. By like before I graduated from like before I passed on to the 4th year, I think I had my scores, everything was set.
Nice.
The first half of 4th year is just applying. Before I graduated from my bachelor's, I had an admit for my master's.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So like everything was daisy chained together. So before I even graduated, I knew what college I'm going to like after that.
Yeah.
So I had gotten into Purdue.
Nice.
UT Arlington, UNCC. So there were a few colleges that I got into.
Nice.
I chose Arlington because of one thing, because I was in SA like Baja. I was more into car. The Netherman Hall at UT Arlington, which is basically the computer science, like it's an engineering hall.
Yeah.
They have all these cars on the top.
Oh, nice.
And as I was going through the like YouTube video, and that's where I saw like those cars. It's like, wow, that's fancy.
Yeah.
And then I went into a rabbit hole and I saw, all right, like UT Arlington is kind of in the big leagues when it comes to Formula racing.
Oh, okay.
Like Formula racing student.
Okay.
So kind of like I never worked in Formula racing for the call like once I got there, but like that's what the glitter was for me.
I see. Well, there you go, UT Arlington. The cars that you have, and what hall was it?
Netherman Hall.
Netherland Hall is a good recruitment piece. So there you go. Okay. So did you have to write any papers on top of the GRE?
Just what do you call statement of purpose kind of thing.
Okay.
That's about it. We had some letters of recommendation and statement of purpose, and that's about it.
Okay, I see. How was putting all that together and submitting, and how was that process?
It was brutal. The problem is you're in final year, like you're getting towards your final year. You're choosing your project. You're working on your projects and trying to manage this.
Yep.
Like that thing was like brutal.
Yeah, I definitely resonate with that because when I applied to do my master's, I remember I had to do the GRE and again applied to jobs. Sorry, not jobs. Applied to schools. And then letter recommendations. Resume had to be on point, and statement of purpose.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm not the best writer. As a result, I had to get a lot of people to review my statement of purpose and like my resumes, had to be on point.
Right.
So I had all the good stats. Like the GPA was good. Everything was good. But the GRE, like you said, I remember I used to do flashcards on my commute to work, because of the words and stuff. Yeah, I just used to do flashcards, and like every little break I would take, I would like read a passage and try and like evaluate it for the written portion. Right. But yeah, it is brutal, especially in your final year, and you're trying to get into the best school that that's on the top of your list. Right. So I definitely resonate with that. Okay, so then let's move on. So you came to the States. How was your journey doing your master's? Like, how many years did you do it for? How many publications do you have? What was your thesis on? Things like that.
So I think 2018 is when I came to States. It's awesome journey. Like the world changed. Again, got into manufacturing portion. I actually I was working towards defining what my thesis would be because I took MS, not ME. So I had to decide what my thesis would be by end of the first year, or at least the first semester.
Yeah.
So I was trying to look for this, and I wrote a paper on redesigning BMW M4 brakes. Okay. So that was one thing that I was working on. And over there, again, I went into a rabbit hole, and that's where I found out like lattice structures inside of brake pads, not brake pad, disc brakes.
Okay.
For better heat dissipation, so like you have better performance. And that got me into like metal 3D printing.
Okay.
Because you can't make that, like that, it's internal structure, so you have to design it layer by layer. You have to manufacture it layer by layer. So that's what got me into like laser manufacturing, and that's what got me into lasers.
Okay.
So that's the story of how I started with just Legos to just automotive to production and like into lasers.
Wow. Awesome.
So, it's I have no complaints. Like it was good. I think I graduated 2020.
Okay.
Peak pandemic. One fine day, we go into spring break.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, spring break, we're gonna have fun. Like nothing. Next week, it's like, all right, we're extending the spring break. Don't come to campus. The week after, all right, for security, we're extending the break again. It's like after that, no college. Just work from home. Labs were shut down. Like occupancy was limited. So it was a tough time. Like luckily I was able to bring my lab PC to home after taking permissions, and we were working from home. The lab mates helped a lot, genuinely a lot, on trying to just if one person was there, it's like, all right, give me over, like, just I'll help you restructure at least or something.
Yeah.
So we were like helping each other out at that time.
I see.
Yeah, my thesis was on cost reduction, cost reduction on support structures for metal 3D printing.
Okay.
So anytime you 3D print something, there's a sacrificial layer at the bottom.
Okay.
Which basically there's a main build plate, and there'll be a sacrificial layer which basically you have to cut. And the parts that you made is turned around, and you just burr out those parts, and that's how that'll work.
Okay.
So the scope of my research was the cost impact of selecting the types of support structure.
Okay.
Sometimes it could be like the type of point contact with the main part. How does it affect? How does it? How hard does the part become? How is there any distortion in the part? Are there any fractures within the part? How are the grain structures formed? So things like that.
Okay. And because 3D printing is very big right now. And what use case applications like would your thesis be used for? Is it a broad range of
It's
applications?
a broader range.
Okay.
It's for more it was more about understanding what a better process parameter would be for better result.
I see.
It's not defined to an application. It's a process optimization thing.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's complex. That's complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't done too much. I've done some 3D printing, but not in that sense. Especially definitely not metal 3D printing. I've never done any metal 3D printing, but the things that they do with 3D printers nowadays is just amazing.
It's insane.
Right?
You can build buildings now. So
yeah, that's what I was just about to say. Like I saw a video, sped up video of a house being 3D printed, and it's just like, wow. Yeah. Okay. So then for the viewers, let's go next to your journey of getting the job at IPG Photonics Corporation. How was that transition from university to the job, to the workforce? And I know when you graduated, you said it was COVID. So, and I know a lot of corporations were not really hiring, things like that. If you don't mind sharing like your journey in terms of that aspect.
Yeah, so like at that portion, like I was struggling as well. Hiring was not going. Everything was on a freeze. So like I was trying to find any avenue. Like it was a struggle. But one fine day, like I was in Boston, and I got a call from like recruiter from IPG that he saw my profile. He saw my research. He saw my the work that I've done. He's like, this is what we are looking for.
Nice.
Would you mind applying to this position? It's like, yeah. I mean, why not? Like, I am looking for a job. I applied for the job, and I had 3 rounds. One with the recruiter, one with my director, who I report to now, and one with the vice president.
Okay.
After that, they reached out to my professor, who I did research under, for understanding for basically understanding if I'm a good candidate or not, and a reference.
Yeah.
And that's about it. I got the job. So like it was just pure luck, or call it karma,
Yeah. I definitely resonate, and I think that's a good point in terms of, I feel like if a recruiter reaches out to you for a job, that's a really good sign. That means that they've basically done their research on you, and they're like, this is the perfect candidate, right? And all you need to do is just kind of, go through the steps, like you said, the different interviews, talking to different people. But I do want to dive into each individual interview without saying too much if you don't need to. But I think the viewers would like to know, like, what type of questions were asked from the recruiter versus the director versus the vice president.
So
if you can remember,
if I can remember. But the one thing that I remember is it was, to me, like I was confident on what I was trying to, like what my work was. I knew it's because you send out your resume, right? When they are interviewing you, they already know what's on your resume. So at that point, it's a conversation.
Yes.
So if everything on your resume is honest, if you've actually done the work, then you have nothing to worry about. You just walk into the room. That's what I did. I just walked into the room. I did prep some work, but it's just brushing up on concepts for I like Lean Six Sigma because I was attending for interviewing for manufacturing engineer.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like all the production concepts, Six Sigma concepts. So I was brushing up on those concepts and just walked into the call. Um, the first interview was more about like ability to work, at what date, how much would you look for,
Compensation.
relocation, compensation, stuff like that. So it was just trying to make sure that this candidate fits within the bracket,
Yep.
be it like knowledge or financial.
Yeah.
Right. Second was with director, and director is like, I know what your resume is.
Yeah.
Like this is what we are looking for. Like, what
Yeah.
did you do in this project? How did you do this? What are the steps? So, one thing that they were looking for is someone who can understand like mechanical aspect and manufacturing aspect.
I see.
So if I give you a design, how are you going to change it? So it's like, all right, let's break it down.
Yeah.
When you get a part, the first question is that the right material? So if you want to reduce the cost of this part, I'm going to question is like, is that the right material? So I go to ASPE charts. ASPE charts is where you have like different like mechanical characteristic with respect to it's basically graphs that help you understand on like what are the alternates to a material, which would be in the same level of like if you're looking for hardness, what are the material that lies in the hardness category. So you can look for alternate materials at that point. When you go to manufacturing, you look for design for manufacturing principles. So I gave a nice I think it was nice, but I gave like an answer which involved concepts which actually created a really good impact, and like it got into more of a conversation on what do you do, what do you do in your free time and stuff like that. So that was the interview with like that was my second interview, and third interview was with my vice president, and that interview was literally a conversation. Again, the same thing. Like I know what work you've done.
Yeah.
But then we started talking about like how the industry like is moving. I was cracking jokes. You know me, so like I like cracking jokes here and there. So I was cracking jokes. He was cracking jokes. Same with all the interviews. Like we were just having fun.
Yeah.
So I personally think, and I've said that to like many friends of mine, don't stress about interview. If you're stressed about an interview, that means you have something wrong on your resume.
That's true. Yeah.
Right. And if you like, this stress is not the problem, but like there's different kinds of stresses. It's like stress should be, nervousness is fine, stress is not.
Yeah.
Be nervous, that's all right, that's human. Stress means there's something wrong in the system.
That's true. Yeah. So I definitely understand. I definitely understand that. I definitely think that like if you do go through a job interview where the posting of the qualifications, you don't understand some of the qualifications, you're gonna go into the interview a little bit stressed because it doesn't resonate with your resume.
Right.
Right. So you should always go into an interview where at most maybe one or two things you don't have, but for the majority of the time, like you said, everything should encompass your knowledge and what you know. As a result, it leads to more of a conversation when you do the interviews, right? Versus like you trying to think about things that what the right answer is. You should just know the right answer because you've already studied it, right?
And at that point, right, they know about you. All they want to see is, are you going to match the vibe? Are they going to match the rhythm of the organization?
Yeah,
that's what they're looking for. Like in one of these interviews, like they said, we are trying to get into a low cost market. But we are not able to because we're not able to have that bargaining power. It's like, all right, I'll call my mom. She can bargain $1,000 to $10. So it's like it literally became a conversation, and it's up to you. How you carry it.
Yeah. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. I don't know. Maybe we do a little segment here. Can you explain if you do? Yeah, I don't know if you brushed up on it, but the Six Sigma.
Yeah.
Just like as best as you can.
Six Sigma is basically a methodology which is like reducing defect. It's a statistical approach towards reducing towards improving process.
Okay.
It's literally a statistical statistical method to improve process.
Is it kind of like 5S?
5 is a different subset,
Okay, okay.
but like that comes into lean. Like it's waste reduction, lean is different, but Six Sigma is more about statistical process.
Okay.
There's different um, there's different methodologies. Oh, excuse me, but there's different ways of just trying to navigate through a project. There's different principles. DMA, DC, DMA, IC. Is first step what you do is define a project. Second is like analyze. So define, measure, analyze. So there's different processes that can be instituted in your growth
Okay.
that would keep things into control.
Okay.
So that's all in all like a short brush up.
And again, just really quickly, is it something that you get a certificate in, or you go to school for, or is it just like something you review and you kind of know?
It's like
practice?
FE. There are
Okay,
external organizations who can certify your knowledge on this. So you just give exams and you get certified.
Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. So you have that, or?
I just got my black belt in Lean Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma, yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, so let's dive more now into, now you're a manager, right? If you don't mind telling us like your day-to-day workload or things that you have to kind of do as a manager in the manufacturing department at IPG Photonics. Maybe I'm...
So I handle more of the like procurement, sourcing, or like that portion, materials. Supply chain, all in all.
Okay, okay.
So I handle that portion of the like the job.
Okay, okay.
So production is managed by another like talented individual. I handle this not so talented individual, but the fun part is like I'm interacting 24/7 with like people around the globe. Like every day of the week, I have different calls with different countries. Mondays with India, Tuesdays are with Vietnam, Thursdays are with China, Fridays Mexico. So you just every morning, your first half of the day is just catching up with different suppliers.
Yeah.
What's going on? Where are the items? So there's two types of work that's being done with every single country. A is like operational work, right? And B is strategic work. Operational work is, all right, I have 5 orders to you for different parts.
Okay.
What's going on with them? Are they on time? Are there any defects? What's the price for it? How can we improve the costing? So that's operational work. Strategic is, I'm going into a new territory. All right, I have this new part. I want to design it. Or this is a whole new product. I want to get coded. What material changes can be done? What kind of tooling do you have we can use to make change to this part? So we can just, instead of paying extra money, we can leverage on existing technology or existing apparatus.
Yeah.
So there's like on like overseas stuff, there's always 2 types of work that's being done.
Wow. Okay.
So you start your day with that, then you go into just seeing your home territory, your home, home turf. You look into what items are being purchased. Just review the work being done. At time, like there's different design releases that comes in, so you go through those engineering change orders. Try to see what's being done with the material disposition. Try to review the design if the bill of material is structured proper. So like you are the interface between like engineer's thoughts. Like engineer has an idea on like how it's being manufactured.
Yeah.
Right. So they, of course, they have the information, but if our vendor is doing it a different way,
yeah,
like you are the disconnect, you are the like the connection between engineering and making the final finished good.
Wow.
So you have to review that properly, make sure the bill of materials are structured, try to see if some things can be changed around, if it's a cable,
yeah,
like, or if it's a power supply, right? Let's take a surge protector. Like I'm changing examples, but like there's a surge protector on a system, right?
Okay.
One system has 5 port surge protector. Other system has 2 port surge protector.
Okay.
Another one is like 6. Why do you need so many different numbers? Why can't you just put 1?
Yeah.
It just use a 5 or you just use a 6, and then it satisfies all of it.
That's true.
Once you do that, you are buying less amount of goods. You are storing less amount of goods. The capital behind it, because you have a storage cost, which basically involves the building, the property, electricity, everything, right? There's an inventory holding cost, which is basically that. There's an ordering cost, which is placing an order. There's admin work that needs to be done. So there's so many small things that compounds. So one item, you don't think about it, but at a time, the team is handling about like 30,000-40,000 to begin with.
Wow.
So like if every single step like compounds to a different level.
Wow.
So you review that, and then by the end of the day, you just try to like send emails, just catch up on emails, send out emails or instructions to overseas suppliers, asking for answers. By the time you wake up in the morning, you have your answers ready to go.
Yeah.
So you structure your day. So at the end of the just first off, catching up with overseas supplier because they're sleeping at that point. So if you want to like have a quick call, they're ready to go.
I see.
Right?
Yeah.
They're closing the office, but at that point you can just quickly connect it. Middle of the day, you just handle your home turf because everyone's available.
Yeah.
End of the day, you never know who's working first shift, second shift. So end of the day is just closing topics and sending out emails to overseas suppliers.
Wow.
So that's how you structure the day.
That sounds like a lot of work. But yeah, I guess that's why, the managers, they get paid the big bucks, and they have to, because there's a lot of things that you need to be able to like kind of organize, right? Because you're doing all this and you're also managing like your team kind of thing, right?
Yep.
So you're calling different countries, you're dealing with the numbers, right? And you're also managing your team and you're reporting too, right?
Yep.
So all that is it's a lot versus like maybe an engineering one person could just be working on one project, and that's it. So that's really cool. That's really cool. So diving into that, what is like, I guess the coolest thing or the coolest fact or the coolest thing about your job or like that you've done working?
Just the projects that we work on, like we are working with Formula racing teams.
Okay.
So like you're working with like really cool projects, and that's that's the best part of my job, where like you can see you know what work you're doing, and then you see how it's being used in on real life applications, or maybe the goods that you're working on is in your phone or in your pocket.
That's
it
true.
eventually comes down to you, like it comes down in cycles. So that's the fun part about it. It's what's going to happen with the work that you put in.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then just to wrap up, what is one thing I like to ask all my interviews this? What is one piece of advice that you would like to give to the audience? Like one piece of advice that you'd like to give.
So one piece of advice. So I'm still young. Like I like don't take me as like
or words of wisdom,
right?
I guess. Yeah.
But I would say like there's too many departments. There's an organization functions on like it's not just two legs. Like the organization has multiple support structures, and everyone has their own story. Everyone has their own struggle. So just try to be like understanding, because you never know what others are like trying to handle. There's a good saying in my language, but it translates to, I spent a lifetime cleaning the mirror, but the spot was on my face. Right? So like you try to like fix your house first.
Yeah.
Like I know the other team is trying to fix their house as well.
Yeah.
But you fix your house, focus on that.
Yeah.
Then you work together. You sit down together, all right, this is what I can improve on. Do you have any recommendations? That's how you work it out. At the end of the day, you need to function together. Like it's an engine. There's going to be friction.
Wow. Yeah. I really like that. You spend an hour cleaning the mirror, but the spot is on your face. I really like that. Yeah.
Started at your home. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, thank you very much, Saurabh. Thank you for coming. Please like the video, share the video, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Professor Govalla. Thank you.
Quick plug-in.
Yes.
I start for people who really like humorous knowledge. I started a blog called Global Manufacturing Insights. It's the terms that I deal with, or the topics that are going in the industry. I just try to have a humorous spin-off on it. So if you're interested, just Professor Govalla can put the link.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the description below.
Go for it. You'll have fun.
All right. Thank you again. Subscribe and share. Thank you.
Make sure you like the video, check out more videos in the link posted in the description below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel.